we had a really interesting conversation with a political psychiatrist. And we learned something about how we could talk to people who have different views than us, that is, MAGA people. I want to start with, I was surprised at the comments that we got. One person said, "Thank you so much. I'm going to try that." Everyone else said,
I know.
"F off." Literally. Why would I bother talking to them? They're hopeless. What was your reaction to the reaction?
Yeah, I mean, I saw one said that ship has sailed. Somebody said I'd have better luck talking to a rock. I don't want to talk to MAGA. They have no standards for decent behavior. I mean, this was the way it went. If you want to talk to us, you have to start with facts that we can't instantly verify as lies. That we
So
so yeah, I mean, it was people were not receptive to
I
that.
know. And so my question to everyone listening to us now is, please reconsider, because if we don't talk in a persuasive way, we will never get past this. We are in a divided nation with different facts. And one of the things that Dr. How do you pronounce your last name? Tamaris?
Tamarisk,
Tamarius? Yeah.
Tamarius.
Tamarius. One of the things that she said was, never start with the facts because you will not get there. But she did have advice on how to get to the facts, which was through collaboration. And people, please think about this, because I'm trying it and it seems to work. And that is, instead of saying, "Well, I don't believe your facts are ridiculous and here's what the facts are," you say, "It's interesting what you're saying, and I'd really like to know more about it. Could you give me something to read that verifies what you're saying? And would you be willing to read something that I have that verifies what I'm saying?" You make it a collaboration, and then you can get to an agreement. I thought that was very excellent advice.
I thought that was good advice too, but then I thought about it a little bit more. And I thought, okay, but what if and she said, do your research. Both of you do your research. And I thought that was great advice. Then I'm thinking, but what if your research is all Fox News and like all these sites that really distort the facts?
Well,
So,
that is what it's going to be. You know that. But
right.
you have to have something that is more credible, something. And remember, she said at the very beginning, the first thing you have to do is establish trust.
Trust.
Work on your relationship. Work on the things you do have in common that make it worthwhile. I mean, yes, I'm not talking about strangers on the street that you're going to engage. We're talking about your family and your friends, people you have shared, maybe you met in college and you've been friends forever until Donald Trump came on the scene, or they're your relatives and they somehow have gotten into this. So it's a question of taking what you know and showing them the actual documents, showing them something that might make them think twice. It's worked for me with one friend. It has.
I've always been, my friends think of me as being ridiculously optimistic, and I mostly am. But okay, now here's where I'm at now, and this may surprise you, Jill, but I think that every week, as the news gets worse and worse, with evidence of our slide into autocracy, and the attack on the rule of law, the Constitution, the weaponization of the Department of Justice against Trump's enemies, and the Trump grift, and now the militarization on the streets. So then I came to this realization, and brace yourself for this one, Jill. I'm thinking maybe it'll take losing your friendship to realize that democracy is at stake.
Well, I'm not ready to give up yet. I think we have to keep working at this. And you're right. The news is a deluge, a fire hose. It's overwhelming. I know many people have turned off. And Dr. Tamarius did say that sometimes for your own mental health, you have to limit your intake. You cannot know everything. And one of the pieces of advice was, pick one subject that you really, really, really care about and focus on that. Know, for example, if it's the environment, know what climate change really means and have examples. Be able to argue one thing persuasively. Don't try to engage in everything that's happening. So I thought that was good. Did you think she had any other particular advice that you thought really
You know,
resonated with you?
to watch less and do more, all of that sounds good. But as I said in my first Substack, Sitting Shiva for America, I said, it's not a Democrat or Republican thing.
Right.
It's to be on the side of the truth and the facts. So, in spite of now we're here, we are 9 months into this administration, and you're talking to someone who maybe supports Trump, who's a criminally indicted president, who not only incited an insurrection, but we've seen him pardon people who were indicted,
Yes.
who surrounded himself with a cabinet of incompetent, unqualified people, and who are planted there to stroke his ego.
And to do whatever he orders, whether it's legal or not.
Right.
So
And
all
when we,
that's true, but what approach are you going to take? Are you going to give up now? I can't believe you're going to give up.
I think I want to help get the information out like we've been doing. But I think at some point, I think people have to realize, I mean, we're in Chicago, you and we're seeing what's happening on the streets. I just don't see how people can continue to be okay with this. So I kind of am hopeful they're going to come to their own realization, and maybe the more evidence there is, people are posting videos, and we've seen little kids being, handcuffed and or zip tied, and it's so horrendous that in a way, I'm just thinking, I know it sounds harsh, but our democracy is at stake. And I'm thinking, how much can you dance around the facts?
Well, it's not a question of dancing around. It's communicating, it's listening to the other side and having them trust you enough to listen to yours. I think posting videos is one of the best ways, because it's very hard to see what's happening in Chicago without, if you see the apartments that were ransacked after doors were broken in, warrantless arrests, which is clearly a violation of the Constitution, clearly illegal. Those are bad things. But remember, she said, tell stories.
Stories.
Use that. And so I think we have to continue to reach out. And I just want to end by saying, thank you for listening today, but please rethink the advice. Go back and listen to what Dr. Tamaria said and see if you don't think that there's at least one person in your life that you might be able to bring around to what you consider the facts. Do not be dismissive of theirs. Be supportive of yours, and see if you can't persuade them through telling stories, through showing videos. I went to look for pictures of the ransacked apartments because I was appalled that they had done that. And you know what? The media didn't cover it very much.
There
I had
wasn't
to
a
go
lot.
to Reuters to get actual photographs of the apartments. I'm sorry, but to me, that should have been front page news in every American newspaper and on every television and cable channel. And I still think it's not too late. I
Well,
just think we
defense of
have to get the facts out.
some of the journalists that I know who are down there covering all of this. I mean, one journalist was hit with a pellet, with a pepper.
Yes.
It's been really difficult. It's been very hard to cover. So this is not an easy job for them. It's made harder than
It
ever.
is not. And the courts have started to rule in favor of the
Yes.
journalists and saying how terrible it is. And a court today in Chicago said, no, you cannot do warrantless arrests, and you can't bring blank arrest warrants and fill them out on the scene. That's
Right.
not how it goes. You need probable cause for an arrest warrant. So
Yeah.
the courts are standing up. We are having a hearing as we speak, and I don't know the results, about whether a TRO, a temporary restraining order, will be issued here in Chicago against the federalization of the National Guard. And I'm hoping that that will happen after a hearing that shows that there is no grounds, there's no insurrection, there's no rebellion, there's no interference with the federal troops, the federal ICE agents being able to carry out their duties. Yes, there's peaceful protest. That's what America is. We have First Amendment rights for peaceful protest. But everyone, please, please just think about whether you're willing to try to engage one-on-one with someone in your life to help them to come around so that in 26 we have elections and they are free and fair and they aren't monitored by threatening men and women in camouflage uniforms who are following as they must, the orders of their commander in chief.
Right.
So
Right.
thank you for listening, and
Thank you.
we'll be back again with more.